My name is David. I am 40 years old. Today, I want to tell you my story. Every night, I sat at the table alone. I looked at the empty chair in front of me. My wife did not come to eat with me. I cooked simple food. Sometimes I made 2 plates because I hoped she would join me. She did not. The house was quiet. Too quiet. I felt small in my own home. I worked all day. I came back tired. I wanted warmth. I wanted her voice. I wanted her smile. But I only found silence. At first I told myself it was a short time. I said she was tired. I said work was hard for her. I tried to wait patiently. I set the table carefully. I heated the food and I hoped. But she never came. The spoon felt heavy in my hand. The food had no taste. I looked at the wall. I listened to the clock ticking. I listened to my own breathing. The sound of the knife cutting vegetables was loud. It reminded me that I was alone. I asked myself why she did not speak. I asked myself what I had done wrong. I tried to remember if I said something bad. I tried to find a reason. There was none. Every night was the same. I cooked and ate alone. She stayed in the other room. Sometimes she watched TV. Sometimes she read. Sometimes she did nothing. She spoke only a few words if I asked her something. Her eyes did not look at mine. I felt like a stranger. I lived in the house, but it was not my home. I moved slowly. I spoke softly. I did not want to disturb her. I tried to avoid mistakes. I washed dishes quietly. I cleaned slowly. I walked carefully. My heart beat fast when she came near. I did not know what to say. I was afraid she would shout. I was afraid she would leave. I felt powerless. I missed the time when we ate together. I remembered the past. We laughed. We shared food. We spoke about small things. I remembered her smile and her voice. I wanted that back. I wanted us back. I did not know how. I tried asking questions. I tried small words. She answered shortly. I tried jokes. She did not smile. I tried gifts. She did not change. The days felt long. The nights were heavier. I cried sometimes when she was asleep. I cried quietly. I did not want her to hear. I cried for the distance between us. I cried for the loneliness. I cried for the life we lost. I did not speak to anyone. I kept the sadness inside. I feared that people would not understand. I feared judgment. I feared losing everything. My work became my escape. I smiled outside. I spoke with colleagues. I acted normal. I pretended everything was fine. But inside, my heart ached. I came home every night with hope. I tried to be calm. I tried to move slowly. I tried to avoid anger. I tried to avoid silence. I wanted her attention. I wanted her care. I wanted her to see me. I wanted her to notice that I was still here. One evening, I felt tired of waiting. I cooked our favorite dinner. I set the table with care. I heated the food and I put 2 plates. I sat and waited. She walked past the table. She did not stop. She did not look at me. The door closed softly behind her. I could not move. I could not eat. I sat and cried quietly. My hands shook. I felt the weight of years, the years of silence, the years of distance. I felt my heart break slowly. I felt my hope vanish. I finished the food slowly. I cleaned the dishes. I did not speak. I went to bed. I lay awake. I turned on my side. I stared at the ceiling. The room was quiet. The silence was full of pain. I wanted to speak. I wanted to say everything. But I was afraid. I was afraid of her reaction. I was afraid of words she might say. I was afraid of anger. I was afraid of rejection. I stayed quiet. I thought about leaving the house. I thought about walking outside. I thought about being somewhere safe. I did not move. I stayed in the bed. I felt trapped. I felt tired. I felt invisible. The nights passed like this. Days passed the same way. I smiled outside. I worked hard. I pretended to be fine. I hid the sadness. I hid the loneliness. The house felt colder every day. I felt smaller every day. I stopped hoping. I stopped expecting. I felt empty. One night I looked at her sleeping. Her back was to me. I wanted to speak. I wanted to reach out. I wanted to touch her hand. I was afraid. I stayed still. I waited. I remembered the times we shared. I remembered small joys. I remembered our laughter. I remembered warmth. I wanted that again. I realized silence was hurting both of us. I realized waiting alone would not fix anything. I decided to speak from my heart. I took a deep breath. I felt my throat dry. I felt my hands shake. I sat at the table. I waited for her. I spoke softly. I told her everything I felt. I told her about the pain. I told her about the loneliness. I told her about the nights eating alone. I told her I missed her. I told her I loved her still. She looked at me. Her eyes were wide. She listened. She did not interrupt. She did not move away. She just listened. I continued. I spoke slowly. I said everything. She stayed quiet. Then she spoke. She told me she also felt lost. She also felt lonely. She told me she did not know how to start. She told me she did not want to hurt me. We listened to each other. We cried together. We did not judge. We did not blame. We held hands. We shared our words. For the first time in months, we spoke honestly. We shared our hearts. The distance began to close. I felt hope again. I felt warmth. I felt her presence. We started to eat together again. We spoke softly while eating. We smiled sometimes. The silence was gentle, not heavy. We learned to listen. We learned to speak. We learned to care again. I learned that honest words could heal pain. I learned that silence could destroy. I learned that sharing feelings could bring people together. I felt calm. I felt safe. I felt loved. I knew we were still learning. I knew it would take time. But we stayed kind. We stayed honest. We stayed together. I never want to forget the nights I sat alone. They taught me to speak. They taught me to reach out. They taught me to be brave. They taught me that a home can be safe if hearts are honest. After we spoke from our hearts that night, life changed slowly. We still had quiet evenings, but the silence was softer. It was not heavy or painful anymore. Sometimes we ate together, sometimes not, but now I felt calm, even when I ate alone, because I knew she listened and she cared. We began small talks after work. I asked about her day, she asked about mine. We shared small stories, small worries. Sometimes we laughed quietly. Sometimes we cried together. We learned to listen without judgment. We learned to speak without fear. One night, I cooked dinner and she joined me at the table. We sat across from each other and smiled. I looked at her eyes and felt peace I had not felt for years. The chair that was empty for so long now held her presence. I realized that the emptiness of the past nights taught me the value of honesty. I realized that silence can hurt more than words. I realized that speaking from the heart can bring people closer. After dinner, we washed dishes together. Our hands touched lightly. I felt warmth spread inside me. I felt home again. In the following days, we kept speaking. We kept listening. We shared feelings before they became heavy. We said thank you and I am sorry often. The house felt safe. Our hearts felt safe. I no longer feared being alone at the table. Even when she was in another room, I felt calm. I knew she would listen if I spoke. I knew I would listen if she spoke. Honest words became our bridge. Honest words brought us kindness and respect. Our home was quiet sometimes, but now the quiet was gentle, not painful. I understood that honesty and listening are stronger than fear and silence. I still remember the long nights I ate alone. I still remember the sadness and the tears. But those memories remind me of the change. They remind me of the power of speaking and listening. They remind me that a home is built not just with walls and furniture, but with honest hearts. I want to tell everyone who feels alone or ignored that speaking from your heart matters. I want them to know that listening carefully matters. I want them to understand that honest words can heal deep sadness. I now eat at the table every night, sometimes alone, sometimes together, but I feel calm, safe, and respected. Our home feels warm and alive. Our hearts feel connected. Honest words healed us. Honest words gave us kindness. Honest words brought us back together. This is my story and the lesson I learned. Honest words can heal a home.